Hey everyone, it's Matthew Greenwood again with Wednesday night's Fireside chat. So tonight, the subject is galactic beings again. So this is our regular that will always come up probably roughly once a month, which I always look forward to, and I hope you guys too. So tonight, if you know anyone that might be interested in this, well, drop them a line, let them know it's on, and please get it out there, because this information is just getting clearer and stronger and more needed. So hi Trina, Fiona, and hey Adair. As usual, when you make any comments, you'll get in the draw for a free spirit guide reading. And guess what? I'm going to let you know who is the winner for this week. It's Joan Carpenter. I actually know that name. And so I haven't seen Joan for quite a long time. So it'll be good to catch up. So Joan, we will let you know. You can give me a ring when you're ready, or a text, and we can get in contact and make a time. All right, so tonight's subject is going to be really good. Look, what is happening these days is the channeling is done pre the show, and I just read out the channeling as I got it. This is the way they want it to be done, but then they are around while I'm doing this online, and they're here to answer questions that anyone might have. So it's really, really important that you guys join in and ask questions. If you have anything there that you feel you're needing to know more information about, or you want to share something that you know that's along the same lines, that would be great. So, but yeah, please, as we get into the talk about galactic beings and what they wanted to say, yeah, please ask questions, which will be really cool. So a few more names. Hey, Jody, Karen, Kylie, Kathy, Moo, Rai. I'm going to get that right one day. Mel, how you going, guys? It's great to see you. Courtney, and hopefully we'll have a few more as we go along. So tonight, of course, we're going to start off with the grounding exercise, which is most important. Hey, Petra, good to see you guys all on board. And I'm going to have to get some tuition on how to pronounce that name. I know this, but we'll get there. Hey, Anne, how you going? Cool. Let's do this grounding exercise, and then we can get on with tonight. So remember, this exercise is about helping to keep your energy grounded, balanced, and keep your head clear, your thoughts clear, and just keep you on track. So, hey, Mariska, how are you going? All right, here we go. So, nice deep breaths. So just get yourselves nice and comfortable. You can close your eyes. Nice deep breaths. Remembering what that breath is about. Every conscious breath you take in is about taking in life force. So following through with each breath is taking in life force. Each breath in, each breath out is about filling your space with nice, clean energy. All right, so once you start to feel that life force coming in, let's do something a little bit more directive with it. So with the next breath in, again, imagining, visualizing, pulling that life force in. With the breath out, I'd like you to push that life force down through your body, your base chakra, your legs, your feet, and then flowing down into the earth. And continuing with that form of breath for a few breaths until you get nice flow. coming through. Cool. So you should be able to have some sort of sensation down at your feet now of that energy flowing. So from here, we can go deeper because our energy system is far more extensive than just driving down into the earth just through the feet. We can go a lot further. So we have many chakras down below our feet. The deepest one is right down at the core of the earth. Next breath, taking a nice deep one, pulling that life force in, and this time with the breath out, drive it right down to the core of the earth, to your earth chakra. So this gives you the deepest possible connection with the earth. And it very much stabilizes your energy. Okay, so continuing that style of breathing until you feel, see, or sense a connection to that deep chakra point, which generally comes across as a feeling of overall groundedness, or quite often a sense of peace that you don't normally feel. A much deeper level of peace, I should say. Okay. So a couple more breaths doing that one. Hi, Janelle. Hi, Anne. Unfortunately, we're not doing readings on this show, so maybe try another show for that one. I don't do readings online in venues like this, but maybe stay in and listen to what's going on. Hey, Karen. Okay. Now that you have that connection deep in the earth, what I want you to do is just imagine that running on automatic. Just let it flow. You can calm your breath. What I would like you to do is bring your awareness now to the center of your physical body. Now, we have a much higher vibrational level of energy deep within our center. So within us, we have a connection to that God force that is all around us, but it's also deep inside us. So inside us, it's almost like we have a universe in there. So what I'd like you to do now is imagine diving from that central physical point deep into your energy system within you, and somewhere you will find, as you go deeper into that space, you'll find an energy source, a high vibrational energy source. And as you connect with that, you'll either see it, feel it, or sense it. As you connect with that, what I'd like you to do is begin to expand that out just through your intention. As you expand that energy out from within your core, imagine that light rushing out from within your core, expanding out and filling your physical body with light. So imagine every cell within your body vibrating at a high frequency. Hey Daniela, hey Darren, hey Myra, hey Alison. As that vibration of energy that from deep within begins to expand out and fill your physical body, know that it's raising the frequency of every cell in your body, and then begin to expand it out into an area about 3 to 4 meters out in all directions. What you're expanding that energy out into is about your 9th energy body, which relates to your galactic connection. Up to the 7th energy body relates to your presence here on Earth. So you're connecting beyond that presence here on earth. Okay, so now with that up to that the ninth energy body, I'd like you to keep expanding that light out, but feel it so that it's like a bomb that wants to go off. It's compacted within that 3 to 4 meter area around you. We're going to let it explode in a minute. Yep, that's getting there now. Okay. So on the count of 3, I want you to just let that light that you're tapped into explode out in all directions. 1, 2, and 3. Just let it go. Beautiful. I know I say this probably just about every week, but I can feel that as you guys do that. It's pretty cool. Because our consciousness is connected. Because you guys are listening to me, I'm connected to you, and I feel your energy. So what you've done, basically, is you've raised your frequency, and what advantages this gives you is when you're walking around in a shopping centre or you're at work and there's a lot of people around you, as an empath, you're no longer taking on lower vibrational energy, as long as you're grounded as well. Your energy system becomes far stronger, and because it's running at a higher frequency, if you do this continuously, this exercise, your energy will basically be shut off to lower vibrational forms coming in, whether it's thoughts from people, projected energy from people, spirits, entities, all of that sort of stuff. Cool. All right, guys. So let's now bring yourselves back to your physical body. And if you want to, a good thing just to finish off with is to reground. Just the base chakra is enough. So nice deep breaths. Another deep breath in, pulling that life force in with the breath out and driving that life force down through your body, your base chakra, your legs, your feet, and down into the earth. And this then just restabilizes your energy. Very cool, guys. Okay, here we go. So let me grab the information. This is good stuff. I was really impressed with what information came through. So let me just explain a little bit first on the first being that's talking. So his name is Javed. He's a mantis being, and I've had a connection to mantis beings probably, I think for about 18 years. I've had one around me. He actually passed on, and there's another one with me now, and a younger one. So this is coming straight from him this afternoon, but these 3 beings that have communicated information to me are here with me. So, you know, they're listening, they're seeing what's coming through. Hi, Fiona. All right, here we go. So this is him speaking. Your people have come to and are coming to a great level of spiritual change. There are things that, believe it or not, are more important than free energy systems, clean air and water, feeding the poor and the starving. These things are learning to communicate without judgment and being prepared to treat everyone as equals, and remembering the common thread that is underlying between all beings, which is love and respect. Your education system will begin to break down in the near years to come, and it will become evident that a new way of learning with a new foundation, namely clean building blocks of spirituality at its source, a more pure view, he says. So we observe the changes as they occur through many of your cultures, and we see this is already in its infancy, this spiritual growth and change, and also starting to enter into the education system. So as we are able to, we help to nurture these changes as the opportunities arise. Spirituality is the foundation of the majority of our cultures and is the underpinning force that brings all educational subjects together. It is the thread that weaves all knowledge, philosophy, and open learning together also. So we look forward to the time when we can personally show you this face to face in our learning systems. And this time is coming. I've been assured of this one. So as we go through this, please ask questions. This is an opportunity to further information flowing through from these particular beings. So it's totally up to you, but the more questions that come through, the more dynamic this evening becomes. So this being now a female, and she looks very similar to humans. She basically carries a very similar DNA. She has other DNA that is active within her too, but like I said, she's very close to physically to who we are. So to follow on from Javed, relationships in the future will begin to have a new foundation, and that also will be a cleaner and more pure version of what we see as spirituality. A new level of honesty and communication will be the tools that drive relationships of your future. Verbal and self-written contracts to hold a relationship in a forward-moving direction will be what is coming. Holding personal and dual goals that have spirituality as the foundation, which will bring both individual and joint success in whatever those goals might be. And also education around how the flow of energy dynamics between people when setting goals. So overall, a much clearer understanding of energy will be needed for the future. Your current method of living and working 5 to 6 days a week is a vastly outdated way to have harmonious relationships, either with partnerships, friends, or community work colleagues. This form of living was designed to keep people stressed, ungrounded, and disconnected at the heart level. So this form of living creates a self-driven, slavery elitist mentality amongst different levels of society. For humanity, this form of living has to be disbanded, and a new level of sharing time and skills for healthy community growth. So we have seen many forms of these values working extremely successfully in many different cultures within this part of the universe. And we will be sharing this information as time moves forward and as your growths, hearts, and minds are open enough to accept and to work with. How are we going so far, guys? Who have we got? Hey, Christina. Hey, Gypsy. And Dare's saying, sounds like working in government. That's going to change too. So this was an interesting one. So I've got 3 pages here from, I need to explain this whole deal a little bit more. So humans have had a group of beings. They've gone under a few names, Federation of Planets, the Galactic Alliance, but they've pretty much condensed the group. It's both of those groups or views on the way those groups work have basically formed into one. There's been a breaking down of many of the systems, the negative systems that have been infiltrating those groups, and now the 2 groups have condensed, and are working together, and they have removed many beings that basically aren't on the same page as where the majority of these beings are in helping us to grow and evolve spiritually. I'll just say, hey, Natasha, Tanya, and Anne. So what has been going on since humanity started is we've been observed by these beings. So these beings are now, up until probably about 30 years ago, have been keeping to themselves and just watching us in our growth state. But what's happening now is, because of the speed at which we're growing and elevating our spiritual growth and energy, they're now coming in to help us to grow more and more. And this whole thing is speeding up, which is, I find, is really exciting. There's a whole lot more information there, but I won't bring that in because it'll detract from what we're doing tonight. So what I know is that there are 3 elders that basically are overseers of this group of cultures or beings that are working together as one to help us to open up. And trust me, there are many different races of beings that are under that umbrella of the Alliance. So I have never talked to one of any of these elders or overseers, but one came through just before I actually came online. Pardon me. So his name is, what I heard was Queg. So he's one of 3 elders and overseers of the Alliance Federation of Planets. As elders, up until this point, we have left the majority of communication to the united numbers who are literally on the ground within and on the surface of your planet. So he's basically saying there are many beings already here on the planet, which I was aware of. On behalf of my equals as elders, we would like to offer our words as incentives. We will admit that in the not so distant past, we saw humans as having little opportunity to grow in intelligence, spiritually, mentally, or emotionally, due to the level of control and manipulation that your societies are living under, with the type of politics and leadership that is currently in place. I think that's a no-brainer. Over the last 18 of your years, what we have witnessed in your ability to grow is many aspects that have caught us off guard. We see much potential to rise above these outdated ways of living when humans are given the opportunity. Unfortunately, what we also see at this time is a level of apathy among not all, but many of you, and this concerns us at times. Many of your people are taking on new ways of living, standing up and being prepared to put their reputation and sometimes their lives on the line to defend the right to evolve and grow as a race, to help investigate that change. But at this point, the voice of those courageous souls is still small. Change takes many things. It takes new ideas, courage, to be daring, but most of all, it takes unity of all people willing to fight for their freedom, for the people, and for a cause. One people, one cause. Not dissension, not bickering or judgment, and not bigotry. For you people to be truly heard in this universe, there needs to be a united goal: healthy life and freedom. We leave this with you to ponder, but not for too long. Activation, not observation, is needed. Maybe a revolution is also needed. Okay, so they're the words that came through from tonight. So I'm going to start answering questions as they come up, if anyone has any. So where do we go back to? And sounds like working government. Yeah, I heard that today. Thanks. I'd love to know more about what the shared economy looks like. That sounds like it's right up my alley. There's always been a belief, from my understanding, that's filtered through kind of in thoughts and ideas, that this level of government, level of society, and that elitism and the paupers, the peasants, so to speak, is so wrong. And this is what they've said to me, that everyone should be on an equal level. There is more than enough money, more than enough, and not just money. Money is a complete fabrication, and nothing is. There's no truth in what money is. It's a fabricated idea, and it's manipulated to suit the elite. So there's no truth in what money actually is. And for all people to have the same equal rights is what is necessary. And that's what we should be all fighting for, is to stand up and be heard. Like he said, one mind, one heart. So Natasha, hi Matthew, how can we support students through these changes in the education system when we work directly with them? Probably at a base level. I know what they've said to me. This was the last time that I did this channeling. They mentioned that by 2023, there will be, from what they're observing, there will be at least 50% of the world, of humanity, that will be opening up and looking more closely at spirituality, not religion, but spirituality. So this awareness, as it grows, by 2025, they're saying that there will be enough, approximately 75%, that's a huge amount on the planet. But they're saying approximately 75% of people will be at least touching on or heavily into spirituality in a clean and pure way. That will be a growing thing, I guess. Even with spirituality as we see it, without religion, there are still, let's say, there still can be controlling and manipulative ways in there. And that's another story. But what is going to be done by 2025, that larger number of people will be a force to be reckoned with, and then there will be needed changes that will basically be forced on the education system, however it looks, in 2025. By 2027, they're estimating that schooling within the majority of cultures on the planet will have a clean version of spirituality without the control and manipulation of religion in there to allow and support much more expansive education and growth. Because how particularly Darness, the female being that I shared with you, she's talked to me many times about this, how their whole teaching begins at a very, very young age. So spirituality is the foundation of teaching, and it's taught from as soon as a child can take in information, which is incredibly young. And so this foundational education of spirituality, and really like the old native cultures, really, that's what it's like. But of course, they'll also be teaching technology. They'll be teaching geography, English, But a lot of this will be so much easier to learn, these other things, once there is a key or a common thread that binds all of this information together, which there is with spirituality and understanding energy. So I think this is coming through now. It's pretty intense. So, you know, this then, if you can imagine kids growing up being taught spirituality from a very young age, and also the fact that in the education system there's a high level of competition. Competition doesn't create community mindedness, it actually creates dissension and individuality. And this is one of the biggest problems with education. And this is where changes need to happen also. And this is where spirituality comes in, because it's a much more heart community connected way of thinking. Okay. Adair is asking, is there any specific actions we as individuals can take to move this way of being along faster? I'm just asking that. Okay, so what they're saying at this stage, to be the best individual that you can be, basically you're an educator. Each one of you are educators in your own right. In the way you live, the way you act, the way you communicate. And this is what they're saying is needed more than anything now, is to be living a better quality way, as best as possible under the circumstances of this society and these societies that we live in. Natasha's, Anne saying, good, I hope government does change. Unfortunately, they didn't talk about government tonight, but they have in the past. And what they've said to me on many occasions is this raising in frequency that's been going on for the last 14 years is having a huge effect on anything of a negative level on the planet. And that can be internal stuff within us as individuals. It can be manipulative or controlling processes that are in action on the planet. And anything that's detrimental to society and to individuals, all of those things are beginning to break down. So at some point, and I'd say in the not too distant future, and you can already see this happening on the planet, governments are basically crumbling, and the control they have is crumbling. And so one thing that you don't see too often on the news is the amount of people that are actually fighting this fight together and are on the streets with placards and marching together. And this is the thing that doesn't get seen that much, because they don't want that to be seen. The media has so much to answer for because of the way they manipulate news stories and only put in what they want to create fear and anxiety amongst people. So yes, governments will fall, and what this will do, and it'll be like a crossing over. What will happen is, as governments fall, there'll be new leaders, or it'll be around about the same time, new leaders, younger leaders will start to come to the surface. And this in itself will help these old, I can't use the word that I want to use, but these old tired men that don't want to change and don't want to see change. They want the power that they've always had, which is slowly drifting away from them anyway. So Natasha saying, awesome, thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. Very soon too. Yes, everything's happening so quickly. And look, I can certainly share this. There's in this speeding up of change that's been going on, particularly going back about 2 years ago, when this really kicked in, where there was so much spiritual change going on the planet. It really threw these beings that have been observing us. They didn't foresee this happening so quickly. And this is what has excited them, because as we grow, the more they can actually help us, the more they can filter information through to support our growth. And, you know, and I see this as pretty exciting. So, hey, Karen, so I do fight for my freedom as very self-driven, and always will, and see all of the programming and do my bit to make change. Great. While I'm on this earth, and very happy doing so with a whole lot of grounding in the process. Great to hear as I put two humans in this world and a grandson. So this is the attitude, you know, we need to be, this cycle of energy that we're in has 80 years to go. So what this cycle of energy is a continuous raising in frequency. So it's this raising in frequency that's driving spiritual growth on the planet. It's driving the breakdown of manipulative and controlling systems on the planet. And so I know just from experience of talking to people that there are already many people out there that are designing new ways to bring community together and to create communities, not necessarily like a commune in the old days, although that is certainly coming together too in a much more stable way. But people that live in different parts of an area, but are still working together, maybe sharing fresh foods, because this is one thing that needs to come through, because there are so many poisons being used in the mass growing of foods. We need to be growing our own, or working together with people that are growing their own and growing it organically. We all have skills. It's not that we all have to be growing food. Sometimes little bits are good, but there will be plenty of people that are really have defining qualities in growing organic foods. And, you know, in a community, you get to know those people. So this connection to people instead of a separation from people is so necessary now. And new ways of thinking. Hey, Paulette. So they're saying, so be the change you want to see. Exactly. So we need to be the best version of us that we can possibly be. But the big thing is, don't get caught up in the fear that, you know, you should be doing stuff that you're not capable of doing. There are plenty of, trust me, there are plenty of people out there that are working on this stuff. I should say plenty of people and plenty of beings that are working together and individually to create this change on the planet. Absolutely, says Fiona. Cool. Brendan, what would be the best way to be as you see it to push this movement forward? Working together with groups, find like-minded people. This is so important. You know, getting together with people that are of a similar vibration, that have similar ideas, and believe me, there's plenty out there. It's just a matter of talking more, and don't be afraid to share your views on life. This is what creates change, is communication, really clear communication. Unfortunately, too many of us, people in the past have held back from talking about a lot of this stuff because they're scared what other people will think. We don't have time for that anymore. We need to be out there, you know, fighting this fight. And, you know, it's more serious than you realize, because humanity as it stands is very much on a knife edge. We can pull this off. I have no doubts. I know a lot of people that have almost given up on humanity and say that it's not going to happen. I strongly believe it will, because you got to ask yourself, why would these galactic beings be out there sharing this information, guiding us, helping us, if it was all worthless? There's definitely the right people here on the planet. They're just not as obvious as you might like to think. So how is this different from the hippie communes of the past decades? Just from my experience, because I've been involved with a couple of those type of communities.